Again, thank you all for being here. We'll start out with our department reports. I tell you, we have some different people with us tonight, I think, that are here for a cause. It's mandatory attendance, I think, right?
Right.
Would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us what you're doing?
Sure, we're with Leadership Logan. My name is Brittany Edwards. I work with Logan Aluminum and Communications.
And I'm Jennifer Gilman with Lewisburg Grant. It's mandatory, but not at Auburn. We chose you guys.
So Auburn was a choice.
Yes.
I got it. Okay, thank you for that.
It's a good choice.
I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. All right, we'll start with our department reports, our police report. You guys have it in your packet, council does. It's a pretty busy month, actually, for everyone. Cadets are busy on their online training, and I think they got some first-hand experience with DJ service and papers and different things too. So it was a busy month and a good month.
You got your certificate today, right? For the online portion?
I did. I got my certificate for weapons of mass destruction and for de-escalation today.
Fantastic. Good work.
And today was the end of the online portion. I leave Sunday morning around 5:30 to head to Richmond.
So both of you be going to Richmond.
On Sunday morning, we got a report by 12 o'clock.
You have 20 weeks of training there, right?
Yes, sir. Then we graduate October 1st.
We wish you the best. Wish you the best of luck. Any other questions on the police report, council? All right, that brings us to code enforcement. I think the council has an update in there from our code enforcement officer, Fuller. Is there any questions on that?
Is there any ongoing training for code enforcement?
There is training, yeah. He's got some for zoning lined up in Madisonville, and probably some codes too. I can't remember when that is though. There's yearly training for it. It's not mandatory, but it's just yearly training, so it's always good to go. Is there any other questions from the council? I beg. All right, that brings us to the fire department. The fire chief's here tonight. Jay, you want to give us an update on what's going on?
Well, we've been pretty busy all year. Just looking at my active 911 on my phone. We've already had 188 calls for service already this year. Of course, that's including rural and city. But 188 calls this early in the year. That's pretty good volume for a small town fire department. So we've been chipping away at that. A few things we got going on. We got some maintenance work going on some of our city trucks. Some ongoing repairs that need to be made. So we're getting quotes on that to take care of a few little issues with our apparatus and stuff that's in-house. Another thing we've been working on pretty hard this past month and everything is we've been working with the county grant writer, Denise Shoulders. Week before last, we submitted a grant for the fire department, and then we submitted a second one last week. And we're currently got 3 more in line that we're currently working on. So we're utilizing the services that the county's provided to the grant writer, and also we're hitting every opportunity we can to try to get any kind of contributions to go toward equipment. A lot of these things is for PPE. One of the grants we've done, people don't realize what the cost of a set of fire turnout gear is. We updated our quotes for this, and just your coat and pants alone. No boots, no helmet, no gloves, no helmets, no nothing else. Coat and pants alone is $3,650 a set. One pair of pants, one coat. So we're trying to utilize our grant opportunities to try to keep us compliant with things. Another thing we've added on this week, and some of you may have noticed it, the youth group at Macedonia Baptist Church has contacted the city and want to know if they could put a blessing box somewhere in the city and everything. So we spoke with the pastor there. Here a while back, Mike and I had spoke with him. We suggested maybe putting something down around the fire station. So they have erected this week, they have come out and they put it's on a 4x4 post, it's a small box, and we put it in the middle of the flower bed in the parking lot of the fire station. And it's right next to the light pole, the light that shines on the light pole. And what this is for is if someone has a need for food or whatever, they're going to put canned goods, non-perishables in that thing. If you would need something, you can take something. If you'd like to donate something, you can put it there. So I spoke with them. We agreed that we could put it there in the middle since it was a small thing. You get people off of traffic having to stop on the side of the road or something. So it's in the parking lot where we have camera access to it to make sure no one's vandalizing it or taking advantage of it. So that has been put up this week. It currently doesn't have anything in it. We're waiting for cement to dry and everything. They put it in, cemented the post in the ground, so we still got support kickers and everything on now. But the Macedonia Baptist Church Youth Group is the one that asked to do that project. And working through the city, and Mike and I, we've allowed them to put that box there. So hopefully that becomes something that goes well, and we don't have to worry with vandalizing of it or something, or improper use of it. So that's just one of the things we're trying to do. We've been involved with all the activities in town and everything. We've got a lot of ongoing training coming up this month. Some good training, some joint training with Warren County. So we have a full schedule of training going on this week. I think we've got 4 more days of training scheduled already for this month alone. So other than that, I think things are going fairly well. So just
Yeah,
a little quick update.
Pump test and all that last month, right?
Pump testing, everything, we do have an issue with one of our pumps, and that's one of the items we're getting repaired. Just a little noisy transfer case, we're getting that looked at. So we've got a supplier in here, emergency vehicle company is coming in and making some repairs to some needed things for our trucks at this time.
Deal. Any questions for the chief? For the council? Thank you for that update. We appreciate Macedonia Baptist Church too, what they do for the community. We appreciate that. That's just one more thing that we can have beneficial in our community for people that are in need.
And we're happy to help out with that.
All right, that brings us to water and sewer. They've been pretty busy. They've had several new taps this month, sewer and water. Not to mention the ongoing stuff that they do. They've been doing their spring contact chamber cleanings and that type of thing. Just a lot of things they do quarterly, and some 2 or 3 times a year they got them scheduled. So they've got some of that going on. They've put in, I know at least 4 or 5 water and sewer taps, which is a good thing. That means their house is being built. So that's always good. But I think everything else under water and sewer, we've been trying to get things on our project, our water line project, we're going to do later this year. That goes down West Main Street from about the center of the city here. And a few other streets that are going to have service lines that will be changed. But we're trying to get the engineering and all the preliminary stuff done on that. Getting all the details worked out so we can go out to bids later on in the summer. And hopefully get a fall start. Anything else on water and sewer? Streets and sidewalks, we've started to evaluate some of those. I'm using Scotty's guy, Nathan Roberts. He knows the streets and how we look at them every year. He's a good resource. I know Rex is dealt with some too, Poplar. He's a good resource as far as looking and helping evaluate which streets need immediate attention and which ones can wait a year to, help us prioritize. So that's working pretty well. He and I are scheduled next week, I think. Right around a little bit, get ready for next year's budget. Any other questions on streets and sidewalks?
No, we still got some low hanging limbs. Gotta be 3 foot tall, to walk down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Not an emergency, but another thing is, I usually walk home with my kids every day from school.
Mm-hmm.
And, I walk home with a bunch of kids. I don't know, it might be 50. But, crossing Main Street is just, something waiting to happen. I almost seen a kid get hit today by a car and,
Down at the crossing, in front of Williams Furniture there,
well, just, no, coming from the school crossing Main Street.
at Williams Furniture there.
No, like a minute market.
Yeah, crossing right there, in front of Williams.
Yeah, and it's, this is like an everyday thing. They're just, kids are just running across the street and the cars aren't yielding. I don't know if we could get some volunteers to help with traffic or get some, police out there. I don't know.
Our police are usually tied up in traffic on the other end of the street. You know what I
A
mean?
lot of times there's the teachers that will do the crosswalk at the school. And sometimes we won't have an officer down there, but I'm just trying to see if there's anything, any suggestions that.
I could check into that before, there's some kind of regulation in school that has to be done. I don't know what it was. I didn't know either, but we have talked about it before.
I mean, I think this is all school property, so this is like.
Yeah, they can't actually, they're not supposed to leave school property. I think they do escort some of the younger children across the railroad tracks. They have to step over, all the property a little bit to do that. But other than that, I don't think they leave school property.
I'm just saying, it's something that I would rather address before something happens.
It's been a problem.
I walk across the street with kids every day, and I try to stop some cars, and they just go keep going.
I don't know what the answer to that is. Because we don't have a 24-hour, force. We're there some days. I know in the mornings we're there a lot, but I don't know the school resource officer is there, but they usually stay right there in front of the school to help with that traffic. And then when we have an officer there, they want them up on the other end of the school to help with that traffic. And that resource officer is kind of dictates that policy.
I just don't know if it's something we could look into, because it's.
I'm not sure what the answer to that is. I'd be happy to have a discussion.
Is there not a crosswalk, a designated crosswalk there? So are the kids crossing in which I know they're kids, in an undesignated crosswalk?
Well, the traffic doesn't respect the crosswalk.
Because that used to be in the school zone, but now it's
Yeah.
not in the school zone.
Yeah.
They moved.
George Lockhart used to sit out there every day.
Yeah, he was out there for a long time.
But that's before there was a traffic problem at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a traffic problem at the school.
So we've discussed it before, or some kind of issue, some legalities to it, but I don't know what it is.
I mean, even if we had volunteers or something in Orange Vest, just to let the kids get across the street, because I see it every day. I've seen kids almost get hit.
There's a light out here as you go out toward the dollar store there that comes on school crossing or something, isn't there?
There's one right there by the church. And
Yeah.
So right as soon as you turn on, there's one.
Put something like that, because I know it's done late.
See, it used to be out there where it was 15 miles an hour out.
Yeah.
School zone.
The state,
Something
the
out
state
there
of course
to remind
dictates
people.
that. Yeah, that's two state highways, but I can check with Joe Plunk and see if there's something we can do on state highway.
Might have.
Whenever we get back from the academy, once we actually graduate, there will be full-time 2 officers on.
There won't be any full-time. You can't work full-time unless there's 7 officers. I mean, the time will work out.
Yeah.
Anything else from the council? I'll check with Joe and see what we can do on State Highway.
I know we talked at one time putting crosswalk where it's at now, and then one up there about the minute mark. I don't think they wouldn't let us do it. So,
I asked him about that one. He says you gotta pick. He said he doesn't want to that close. The traffic won't respect it at all.
It's so easy to glide out 103 now. I said, it's so easy right there at the end of 103 now.
Yeah.
You know, they just would probably not be paying attention to it.
Maybe, I mean, maybe we can look at that officer being more of a resource at that intersection.
Do what now?
Maybe we can look at that officer being more of a resource there in the evenings and in the mornings it's still up.
I've always let the school resource officer and the officers work out where they need to be when they're there, you know. It's, because I think they know more about what needs to happen over there. They're there, you know. They have a lot of traffic issues over there. I mean, more than we've ever had.
There's just slow moving traffic in front of school, but when the kids get down here, some people's running 50 in front of the minute mark, and, you know, it's like trying to run across 68, 80 sometimes, and we can work it out, I appreciate it.
I'll check and see that, of course, we're not gonna have officers there all the time. Some of them be working back shifts, overlapping shifts, different things later on when they get out of the academy. But for us to guarantee there's gonna be an officer there every morning, every evening, requires a pretty rigid schedule.
I mean, I'm not looking for just an officer, I'm looking for a solution, like you,
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
have volunteers, you know.
And I can check into the volunteer thing, but I'm not sure if the city, if it's sponsored by the city,
Then we'd be responsible or something.
it's gonna be responsible. That's gonna require,
Like, if there was some legality to it, then.
I'm not sure. I mean, I've never done that, I don't know. I've never asked that question, so I can ask that question. All right. Anything else on the streets and sidewalks? I got it written down to work on those low ends when we get an opportunity. We just haven't got an opportunity yet. All right, that takes us to the park. It's been exceptionally busy. We've been doing a lot of repairs down there this month, to some fencing and taking down some obsolete things like that announcer stand, and working on the repairs and replacing some fencing that was torn up pretty bad, and some dugout issues. We've been working on that, and then painting. Been doing quite a bit of painting there as well.
Is the painting done down there?
No, he's not quite finished, but he told me he had to pull off on another job when he started for about a week. He'd be back and show some work.
It doesn't look very good.
I'm sorry?
It doesn't look very good.
What's that?
The painting doesn't look very good.
Does not look good?
Not for
Which part?
Well, the pavilion looks like he's spread his paint too thin and.
Too thin? Well, no, he's supposed to put a second coat on some of them when it comes back. He just ain't got it done yet. I thought you meant his missing his lines and stuff. I hadn't seen any of that. But yeah, there's some that he's only got one coat on. Well, he put a coat of the drywall. That stuff, I was down there when he was putting it on, the first coat of paint on top of the drywall. And that, we're using epoxy paint. And the epoxy paint doesn't smooth well over that drywall, first coat. That drywall's so slick, you know, and it's not porous. So it's, but it keeps the water from moving up in those blocks. But we'll try and make sure everything gets covered good before we quit. Anything else on the park?
Do you have an update on, the coverage at the soccer field or the swings? That's supposed to come down and fire.
Jeff, not this Jeff Ruff. He, Kelly talked to him. He was waiting on the materials to get started on this and the building over at the sewer plant. up at the same time. And he has a few more materials that had to come in, and he's going to be ready, he thinks to start pretty quick.
Will
Get those done.
Will it be done by the soccer season this time?
I hope so, but I saw him practicing down there this last week, Jeff. I guess they're already practicing.
Yeah. I've had several ask me that online.
Yeah, I guess they're already practicing. But I asked him to try and do these first. I don't know which materials he's waiting on. Kelly's been working with him, Kelly Jordan. But I don't know which materials he's waiting on. Whether it's the materials, you know, it's a different color material down here than it is on the sewer plant.
I haven't been down there recently, but is there any update on the protective surrounding around the light pole at the playground? They ever got that?
We ordered, but those are ordered. They're not in yet.
Not in yet, not,
But
I
they're
haven't been down there.
Yeah, they're ordered, they're just not in yet.
What's the transition for the dog park?
I'm sorry.
The transition for the dog park.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet. You're talking about the little transition gate? Well, I've been waiting to make sure that things are finished on that lot suit, before we move forward with that. And I'm not sure they are. Elizabeth's checking on it. She's on her list of stuff to do for the last week or so. She's checking on that to make sure that is done.
What about the swings along the creek, the swings along the creek?
I don't know, I've given up on July. He says he's gonna do it, but we'll see. We'll see. He says he's gonna do it. But if you've got somebody else in mind that can give us a quote on done, I'd be happy to give him to do it.
I will definitely be looking for it.
You get somebody, give us a quote, it'd be good.
It's only been 4 years.
And then 4 years.
And the springs for 4 years, we've been waiting on July. We had a couple of people that had said they wanted to contact.
Yeah, John Madison's first. All right, anything else on the park? All right, that brings us to tourism. Rhonda, can you give us an update on that?
This past month we had Mardi Gras, and everybody seemed to enjoy down there at the park. It was a big crowd and big turnout, and I appreciate everybody participating and donating to it, especially Ms. Fullerton and Stewart. This month we don't have anything this month. We took a small break because of everything going around us. But June 6th, we will have our frog hopping contest. It's a bring your own frog. One calendar says it's on 11 a.m., the other one says it's at 1. So I need to fix that. We're gonna do it at 11 a.m. and not 1 p.m. That's like I said, it's June 6th at the small pavilion over there by the creek. And then next month starts our concert series with our party on the square. Our first band is gonna be Andy and the Rockers. They're a new band that we haven't had before, but they played up at Bowling Green in the Circus Square. A concert series in Franklin, and great things about them. And then our fireworks will be June 28th. That's always a big event that we have. So June is a super busy month for us, and we just look forward to the activities that we have to offer everybody and to get everything started for the summer and ready for some warm weather. We have a tourism meeting tomorrow here at 6 p.m. We'd love to have everybody come and show up and help plan us some stuff and all that. So if you have any questions, just let us know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. We have to see you tomorrow. It's 6 p.m. tomorrow. You're at the council room.
Did you say Andy and the Rockers? I can vouch that that's a brilliant band because I've actually known them for 20 years. So it's gonna be a good show.
I look forward to it.
Good group.
Yes, he's brilliant on the guitar, and she's got a voice. I wouldn't want to miss it.
Great.
I worked with Andy at hospice very briefly, so I've heard her too, she's great.
All right, any questions from council on tourism? Thank you, Ron. All right, that brings us to economic development. Started working with Brad a little bit to try and get a jump on doing some of the environmentals at our property out here. We can't really start anything till after July 1, but we could do some preliminary work and talk and whatever, get some of that worked out right ahead of time. But it takes a while. But hopefully we can get a jump on that. Get our environmental started. Anything else on economic development? Anybody else on that? All good. All right. That brings us to the senior center. You got a report in there. It's been pretty active for this time of year. We've got a maintenance day planned down there, I think, not this week, but next week, to do some of the things that she's requested. In a report, minor stuff like that. Keep it caught up if we can. Anything else that I'm not aware of? Things are going to be moving along well down there. So it takes good care of it.
People are enjoying the yoga.
I'm sorry?
I think people are really enjoying the yoga. The yoga classes, bingo.
Yeah. I think, there's several events, the things that she schedules that they really like. The bingo on Wednesdays are big. And the yoga's gone over better than I thought it would. Quickly, but she's got a lot of people participating in that.
And the ladies had Kentucky Derby down there.
Yeah.
But they haven't come out for it.
It's going over pretty good. Is there any other questions on the senior center? Anything anyone wants to point up on the senior center? All good? All right, that brings us to the cemetery. And Laura started doing some of her spring stuff out there. James tried to spray a couple of afternoons or mornings out there before the wind got up. It's been so much wind this spring, it's been very difficult for us to spray very much. And so we're very cautious about that anyway. And so he'll be catching that up in this next week or so. I'll call for much wind. But other than that, Laura's got it really looking good out there. It looks nice. She does a great job watching over it. She's very conscientious about it.
There's a dead tree, I think it's on the first road, second road going in, up almost top of the hill. Looks pretty shaggy. Yeah, it's
Running amongst the others there.
Yeah.
Runner, I tried to get him to do it the last time he was working in town. He didn't have time to do it. The time before that it was just too wet. We went up there, it was just too wet. We were scared to bog up, the big old, because he's got to use a big truck to cut the tops out.
Well, this was not very big, what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Shouldn't tag it, everything.
Maybe you may have showed it to me there, just a little. This one's probably this big.
This has got three, it's got one going up this way, one that way, it's got one in the center, it's dead. I mean, and some of the other wheels are dead too.
Is it out by itself?
Yeah. Just right there close to the road.
I think she showed it. Laura may already have scheduled something on it too, I don't know, if it's smaller, she may just be intended on them cutting it themselves, so. And I'll make sure.
On the 23rd of May, the post 258 will be installing flags on the Veterans Cemetery and Veterans Graves. And then on May 24th, that's a Sunday at 1600 hours, we're going to be having a ceremony up here. We'll have a speaker. Everybody like to come out. I don't know if the city's going to be involved in anything like that, or they wanted to ask. We had a meeting Thursday night,
Yeah.
and they asked. I told them I didn't know. I had to find out.
Whatever you need from us, we'll be there to help you.
We got I think we got everything lined up. We just didn't know if the city had anything planned for that or not. So
I don't
if
think so.
not, I think that's fine.
Last year, you guys had an event right out here, didn't you?
We tried to, but it rained us out.
That's what it was.
Yeah, last year, I think the last 2 years, it's
What's the
rained us
date
out.
again?
I'm sorry?
What's the dates again?
we're gonna be putting the flags on the post on Saturday morning at 0700
On the cemetery.
at the cemetery.
And what date is that?
It's Saturday, May 23rd.
23rd.
And then, on the 24th at 1600 hours, that's 4 o'clock, we're gonna have a ceremony up there with, change the colors and, caps and all that, so the whole, if anybody wants to come up there,
You said over at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
That's at 4 p.m.
Yes,
on Saturday,
24th,
24th, that's Sunday.
just so everybody knows.
I'll try to get the flyer together and put that on the page.
Okay. Weather permitting.
Yeah, when you talk to Greg, anything you need from us, just let us know, we'll help out any way we can.
Appreciate it. And also, I will say something about that mapping that, Laura has been doing. I went out there, well, myself and Tony Martin, we went out there last Friday. I took the map that she has fixed to find a grade with, and it's pretty accurate, because I wanted to try it before we go out there on Saturday to put the flags on the veterans' graves. And that's pretty accurate. I mean, it may not be just right on the point, but it's a stone or two, one way or the other. We just randomly went through each section. We didn't go through the whole section, we just randomly picked some spots, just spot check, and it worked out good. And I know she said, they don't have the names on there, maybe by the time they get the whole program.
And it'll tweak it a little closer than what we had to do in the old part of the cemetery. Most of this is already existing. We had to kind of shift a little bit for what's there, right?
Yeah.
In other words, if the line was supposed to be here, then on the map, we just might have had to shift a little bit to get the stone, get where the line actually is, you know,
Yeah,
where it's actually on. So
It's confusing.
It is a little bit confusing.
I had to call her out there, and, when she told me she didn't need to call me, and, you know, it works out good. It works out good.
When we get the GPS part of it done, we'll have GPS coordinates. You'll be able to take your phone or our device, either one, and walk out there, and it'll GPS you right to within an inch or two of that grade. That's why.
That process works.
Yeah, it's gonna be really nice when we get the GPS portion
That's all I got.
done. Anything else on the cemetery?
Like each one of the graves out there at the cemetery, what's not appropriate with flowers? Whether it be real flowers or artificial, what's not appropriate?
Not appropriate?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything on the ground now during the.
That's when it's on the ground, it's stowed away.
Well, we give it like let's just say.
Grace period.
Well, let's just say a new burial, or someone that was just buried, a new burial. We'll wait at least a week, and then sometimes depending on the weather, 8 to 10 days, you know, before we get that stuff up off the ground. And tell you why, because, or unless a storm's coming. If a storm's coming, we might have to cut that a little short because it blows everywhere all over the cemetery. Then it gets mowed up and trash gets everywhere. It gets in a horrible shape, whether they're artificial or whether they're fresh, you know, either one, they still do that. But within a week, most times of the year, those flowers are starting to wilt and look pretty bad anyway, the fresh ones. But we usually try to get all that off the ground. And then anything except a shepherd's hood and a planter, you hang a planter with a shepherd's hood, you put a saddle on top of the grave. A lot of stones have urns on each side. So there's
None of that's removed, anything.
No, none of that's removed, no. Now, anything else is, and then like metal trinkets or solar lights, anything like that, we take those out as we find, as we look at it. But we try not
And
to.
all that's posted out on the fence and all
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it's all posted in the rules.
It's in the paperwork we get too.
So,
It's
for people that are buying, or buying a new right to bury, when they do that, they get a stack of paperwork that has all that stuff in it, in the paperwork as well, just like Ronnie said. Now, some of the people that are just using this, say, a grave site that their family bought a long time ago, they may not have the paperwork. That's the reason we put all of the signs. But if they can ask for it, we'll give them that paperwork as well. And all of our funeral directors that work with us at the cemetery, and these local funeral directors know all those rules too. So we try to pass along that information as best we can. It keeps our cemetery looking good, and not blowing everywhere. Is there anything else on the cemetery?
I would say that the store suggested that they put their names on the back of it, or on the bottom, like if they have a saddle. And if there's a name underneath it, and it blows off, then she kind of knows where it goes, and she can put the saddle back on.
The name of the deceased.
Yes.
And then put your own phone number on there if you want to, underneath that saddle, then that way she always tries to contact people that has that. If we'll find one blown off over in the cemetery or something, we always look under it to see if there's a name or anything on it, identify.
They make tether straps too that you can adhere to the top of the stone and clip it onto the saddle. That way, if it does fall off and hangs, you can put it right back on. I don't have those on my parents' stone, but there is
I personally had good luck with those Velcro strips.
Yeah.
I've had good luck with them. My father-in-law's grave, my dad's, some of our relatives' graves at New Friendship as well. We'll take the saddle, use the Velcro strips. Now you gotta put 2 or 3 of them. You can't just put one. But put the Velcro strips under there, and then put a strip on top of the stone, and it sticks to it pretty good. It holds it pretty good.
And what we've done with my family stone is it's a 2-part epoxy mix. You stick that thing on it, and it bonds it to the stone.
Right.
And it's kind of like a stainless cable with a clip on it. You clip it on the basket. It's never going off.
You've had good luck with that.
I have.
There's different things people can do. We've had to do it because Will just blows them off. I mean, he'll stay there most of the time, but sometimes he blows them off. Is there anything else on the cemetery? All right, that brings us to the minutes of the April 13th, 2006 regular meeting. Anyone, I think it's in your packet, so if anyone has any questions on those minutes?
It was not in the packets over the weekend, and I'm so sorry, it was just one thing I could not get to, by the time I needed to get them out to you guys, but you guys do all have, a copy at your seats. So, I'm sorry that it was not done on Friday.
All right, have you all had time to look at that, or? I know you haven't been here too long.
Make a motion, to accept the minutes.
So,
Got a motion and a second, is there any discussion from the council? Hearing none, roll call please.
Paul Tisdale,
yes, ma'am.
Peggy Thomas,
Yes.
Greg Simmons,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory,
Yes.
Ronnie Sullivan.
Yes.
All right, we have minutes from the April 30, 2026 special call meeting. You've had a chance to look those over.
Those are your packets.
Yeah. You want to have a motion to accept those as well? That's the budget workshop.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Excuse me, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Paul Tisdale,
Yes, ma'am.
Peggy Thomas,
Yes.
Greg Simmons,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory,
Yes.
Ronnie Sullivan.
Yes.
That brings us to the financial report, with our city clerk, Maggie High.
This sun is like drilling into my eyes. Good. Back up just a little bit. I can read. Our financials at the end of April, we will start with revenues. For our general fund, month to date, at the end of April, we brought in $237,558.62. Year to date, $1,369,449.67, making up 113.39% of our budget, so we brought in a little more than we thought we would. At the end of April, citywide, we brought in $240,710.20. Year to date, $1,463,942.84 for 105.98% of our budget. Water sewer, in the month of April, we brought in $124,178.20. Year to date, $1,277,226.43 for 70.78% of our budget. Moving down to expenses, in the month of April from our general fund, $38,618.88. Year to date, $1,537,852.66, leaving us with a budget remaining of $482,708.15. Citywide, $54,566.29. Year to date, $661,014.44 for a budget remaining of $529,896.37. Water sewer month to date, $105,244.83. Year to date, $1,296,041.39, leaving us with a budget remaining of $874,671.95. And our cash balances at the end of April for our city accounts were at $1,767,200.22. And for our water sewer accounts with $1,393,385.05 for a grand total of $3,160,585.27.
All right, any questions from the council? This time?
We are back up to date and on schedule, which is fantastic. It feels really nice to be able to read out those financials to you guys and get back to work.
Thank you for getting that there. They worked really hard to get that done. I appreciate it. Been some pretty serious, as you know, council knows, software issues. We've actually had one meeting with one software company, got another one this week. With another company as well, trying to get some preliminary information. Thank you, Maggie. All right, that brings us to the bills payable. Everyone's had a chance to look at those. We'll have a motion to accept the bills payable.
There's one on here for street sidewalk, for filling stump holes.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well,
Are we buying dirt for that? Is the reason we're paying him that, for that?
we had to buy one load, one small truck load. But there was, they had to get the sawdust out of there, then put dirt back in. But there was 9 or 10 of them, some on Peterson, some on Walnut, one at the corner of Blakey and Maple. I can't remember all, one over on Rogers Drive where it comes off Wilson, one up on Sunset there at the edge where Tim Bond's house is there. There's a lot of them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And some of them were really big, and really deep.
And this, the park painting, that's what we paid him so far for what he's done.
I'm not sure which number you're looking at, but
That's what we had paid him as of the end of April.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what,
We're paid to that, we get.
I think there's
it
been,
is page 6 in your bill sale.
I think there's been one more check cut since then. He works by the hour. He works by the hour, so.
anticipating the same amount of time?
I don't think so, he's getting pretty close, you know, he's already put the coat of primer on everything, and some of it's already done, like the inside of the bathrooms on the other side are done. He has some touching up to do, and the one down at the concession stand, and then over on those walls where the pavilion is, some of that looked a little thin to me too, so we put another coat on some of that.
So you using a roller or just a brush?
Rollers on most of it, but then he
I
brushes.
seen it down when I was down there using a brush.
Yeah, then he brushes out the trim edges and pieces, but some of those block, when it's real porous like that, you can't really get it in there on that epoxy paint is a little different, you know, it's not exactly, it doesn't flow like the other paint does. It's a little different. Some of these got to band that first coat in a little bit. Any other questions?
Just one more, Ollie. Our sewer lab cost, what drives that to be so much different month by month? Like some months it's 8,000, some months it's 3,000, some.
Yeah, it's the testing, they call it a wet test, that we've had to do more now. Champion Pet Foods, if you look at their lab cost has gone up as well, it's because we're charging them back, and your sheet really doesn't reflect that very well, and I don't know how to make that, do that, but see, their cost, actually, they're paying us back, they send a check to us. Our lab cost might be 8,000, but then Champion's cost to us, what they're paying us, could be 3,500, 4,000 of that.
So where would we see that coming back in?
That coming back in.
Where would we see that?
It has its own, it's Champion PTP.
Yeah.
In the revenue lines of your revenue report, it should be under Champion-PTP pre-treatment program.
But I apologize, you have to look at two lines to get your number correct. You know, I know the number you want to see, but our lab cost is going to end up being about half what you're saying there. A lot of them. Sometimes it's half, sometimes it's a third. Sometimes theirs is 60% of it, and ours is 40%. But for the last 6 months, we've been on what's called a TRE. And instead of testing the wet test every 3 months, every 3 months, we have to do it every month. And it's because of just some issues at the Champion. So they've been putting that extra testing bill. That's the reason theirs has gone up as well, quite a bit above what was budgeted.
That should be on, of your revenue report, should be on page 7. Towards the bottom.
I'm seeing 3.
So I guess the original question was, why does it fluctuate, right? But in essence, it's because the testing fluctuates, what we're required to do. Some months we're required to run that $1,800 test. One test is $1,800. And if we have to run 2 species, it runs up about $2,600. But they allow us not to run just the one species.
What do they call it, biometrics testing?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Is there any, will we ever get that back in-house?
Yeah, actually, this is the last month. So long as we meet the compliance, or so long as Champion meets compliance. But now it hasn't, that portion of it, the TRE hasn't affected our cost that much. The wet test, we have to do anyway, every 3 months before our lab, right? So that's still on us, it always has been.
Well, do we have testing equipment down here to do any of these tests that they're doing? Or is that something that will always be there?
It always, we can.
Did it start with a new?
Yeah, I can show you the test results sometime, you'll look at it and see, but they test for everything and it has to be a certified lab. Even Cindy at All Environmental, she helps us get the testing, but it goes to a certified lab, different places, but there's several around, not as many as you think, but there's several, but has to go to them, and they test for everything that the state wants to see, and then those results have to be turned in.
So we're pretty much back in compliance.
Yeah, yeah. With the exception of that one, 2 months in a row, it went over on the BOD, and that was where Champion was sent there. And so, but we're responsible for what they do. It's our responsibility at the end of the day, you know. Their responsibility to pay for what they have to pay for, but we are actually responsible for making sure we enforce their pre-treatment program.
So the whole program itself, we watch out for each other then, right?
Yeah. The pre-treatment program is not just their pre-treatment plant up there at Champion. Pre-treatment program is all the permitting, all the other testing, all the plant up there, the whole thing combined. And we're responsible for making sure that they're in compliance because they're sending it to us. And then we discharge to the group.
So when I'm looking at this year-to-date revenue from Champion, they say that's $29,310 for testing. Is that correct?
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
That high and that low,
That's actually about what they're gonna run every year. They'll run between 25 and 35,000 a year on their pre-treatment testing. Does that answer?
Yeah, because I'm just seeing all this money going out.
Yeah, you didn't see anything coming back in?
No.
About 30 grand of that margin number you're saying going out is already come in, there's probably some more.
Yeah, I mean, we're turning in $50,000 a year for lab costs, and we're getting 130 of that back. That's a little bit better.
That's a lot better, isn't
That
it?
makes my heart feel better.
Well, I apologize, I don't know how to make those numbers more clear to anybody else, because we know to look at it, right, but you're right, it's not very clear if you're just looking at it as a council.
Yeah, if you're just looking at it as bills payable.
Yeah. You don't really understand that money's coming back in another area. I got it. Maybe in the new software, we make that a little more.
I hope so.
Well, maybe, I'm not sure how.
It'll always be a revenue and expense, we have to separate it that way.
but you seen it like it educates the rest of it.
We'll probably just be able
Like
to
you
tell
seen
you.
it like it educates the rest of us, you're looking at it.
We
Gives
can,
us a clear, view of what's actually going on.
well, we'll try to tell you, try to make it more clear somehow, I'm not sure, maybe it's write a cheat sheet up or something.
I know we're looking at.
Yeah, you know where to look now. All right, is there any other questions on bills payable? If not, entertain a motion to accept them.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Any more questions or discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Paul Tisdale,
Yes, ma'am.
Megan Thomas,
Yes.
Greg Sims,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory,
Yes.
Rhonda Sullivan.
Yes.
All right, that brings us to ordinances, and we have two. We have our 2026-01 amending the fiscal year 25-26 budget. This is the first reading. And I think Ms. Hines is gonna read that in absence of our city attorney, Elizabeth T., who could not be with us tonight.
I apologize in advance, it's gonna be a lot of me just reading numbers out loud. I will say to our council, along with the amending ordinance, I did give you guys, fresh copies of each individual budget line, so that you guys can see the actuals, which you guys did not have before. So there's a whole lot of extra information, none of that, is part of the ordinance. All of those individual accounts are summarized into the different categories that you see on the ordinance, but I figured you guys would probably want to see last year's actuals, since you didn't have that before. So that's what all of that is, but the actual ordinance is just this one pager. So I won't have to read all of that. I will go ahead and start with our first reading. This is City of Auburn, Kentucky, Ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026 by estimating revenues and appropriation, whereas an annual budget amendment Proposal and message have been prepared and delivered to the legislative body for review and modification. Therefore, be it ordained by the city of Auburn, Kentucky, that the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026 is hereby amended as follows. So I will start with the general fund, and I'm just gonna go straight down. So, the fund balance carried forward is amended as $1,834,498. The estimated revenues for property taxes is amended as $348,249. Licenses and fees is amended to $678,349. If it's intergovernmental revenues, $37,690. Franchise tax, $50,789. Interest, $40,843. Land lease and surplus sales, $36,465. Insurance tax, $222,362. There were no charges for services on the city side. Miscellaneous, $59,694. Dividends, $2,806. Rental income, $28,631. Loan proceeds, grants and donations, $33,062, for a total estimated revenues of $1,538,940, and including fund balance carried forward and those revenues, the total resources available for appropriation come out to $3,373,000 or $373,438. For appropriations on general government, it is amended to $890,008. Police, $134,175. Fire, $82,318. Streets, $300,667. Public health and civic, $94,056. Parks and recreation, $99,793. No note payment there, for a total appropriations of $1,601,017. With an excess resources over and under appropriations of $1,772,421. No interfund transfers for an ending fund balance of the fiscal year of $1,772,421. I will skip over to the road aid fund. The fund balance carried forward was amended to $82,904. Intergovernmental revenues, $28,572. Interest, $220. For a total estimated revenues of $28,792. Total resources available, $111,696. Appropriations for streets in the road aid fund were $60,000, and that was not amended. That was, we spent exactly what we budgeted. Extra resources, $51,696, and that's the same as our, ending fund balance. There's not a whole lot to go through road aid except road aid. Under the water sewer fund, the fund balance carried forward was amended to $1,428,678. Licenses and fees, $38,692. Interest, $2,586. Charges for services, $1,237,667. Loan proceeds, grants and donations was amended to $0. For total estimated revenues of $1,278,945. Total resources available, $2,707,623. Appropriations for the water sewer fund, for public health and civic, $1,062,850. Note payment of $270,085. For total appropriations of $1,332,935. Extra resources, $1,374,688, and the same ending fund balance for the year. Section 2, that this ordinance shall be in effect upon 2 readings and publication. First reading will be tonight. Second reading and passage is anticipated for June 8, 2026. And that is ordinance 2026-01.
This is the first reading, which doesn't require a vote. So if you guys are okay with that, we'll move on to the next order. Everyone okay with that? Ms. Hines, if you'll read,
It's not thing, but there's only a couple of things after it, so it's way towards the back.
5th page from the back, I think.
Alrighty. City of Auburn, Kentucky ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027, estimating revenues and appropriation. Whereas an annual budget adopting proposal and message have been prepared and delivered to the legislative body for review and modification. Therefore, be it ordained by the City of Auburn, Kentucky, that the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026 and ending June 30, 2027 is hereby adopted as follows. So for our general fund, our estimated fund balance carried forward is $1,590,887. Under estimated revenues for property taxes, $364,560. Licenses and fees, $657,700. Intergovernmental revenues, $47,280. Franchise tax, $37,000. Interest, $39,335. Land lease and surplus sales, $3,000. Insurance tax, $200,000. No charges for services. Miscellaneous, $52,700. Dividends, $2,250. Rental income, $31,700. Loan proceeds, grants and donations, $1,508,000. For a total estimated revenues of $2,943,525. For the total resources available of $4,354,412. Appropriations, general government, $2,457,334. Police, $307,421. Fire, $96,557. Streets, $317,323. Public health and civic, $117,950. Parks and recreation, $238,841. No note payment on the city side. For a total appropriations of $3,535,426. Due to the extra resources over appropriations of $998,986. Moving over to the road aid fund, our fund balance carried forward is estimated at $51,673. Intergovernmental revenues, $30,463. Interest, $25. For a total estimated revenue of $30,488. Total resources available, $82,161. Appropriations for streets in the road aid fund, $70,000. Leaving our extra resources at $12,161. For our water sewer fund, we estimate our fund balance at $1,434,413. Licenses and fees, $40,000. Interest, $2,700. Charges for services, $1,408,970. Loan proceeds, grants and donations, $1,450,000. For a total estimated revenues of $2,901,670. For a total resources available of $4,336,083. For appropriations on the water sewer fund in public health and civic, $2,843,589. A note payment of $269,831. Total appropriations of $3,113,420. Leaving us with excess resources of $1,222,663. That this ordinance shall be in effect July 1, 2026, and after 2 readings of publication. First reading was tonight, second reading and passage anticipated June 8, 2026. There is a public notice at the bottom that the budget summary will be available for public inspection. All interested persons are hereby notified that a summary of the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget of the City of Auburn, Kentucky, including the intended uses of municipal road aid and local government economic assistance funds, is available for public inspection. The budget summary and documentation necessary to support the summary are available at City Hall from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Council is familiar with that. Again, this is the first reading, doesn't require a vote. Is everyone okay with that? workshop, and drilled all that out before. But just let me know. All right. That brings us to the resolutions, and we have one of those. I guess I need to give you a little background. We were gonna do this last year.
We did.
Well, we did, but they didn't get us started anyway.
They did, just way late.
They did get us in
They
there?
did get us in,
Okay.
yes,
So anyway, do we have to do this resolution every year?
every year.
Okay. Anyway, this is the same thing we went over about contributing a small percentage of our road aid fund back, but it makes us eligible for some emergency funding. And I think we went through all that and discussed it before, but if you want to discuss it some more, we can, but we'll have to do a resolution every year, looks like. I don't want to do it.
I guess not, they sent me a brand new one and told me if we wanted to participate, we would need to pass this. This resolution is, authorizing the mayor to sign the contract to enter into that, program, and then the contract is also included behind the resolution, so that you guys can look at that too. Whenever you guys are ready, I'll read that resolution myself.
I don't hear any questions yet. Why don't you go ahead and read the resolution, and then we'll ask for any discussion after that.
City of Auburn, Kentucky, Resolution 2026-3. Incorporated City of Auburn, resolution adopting and approving the execution of a municipal aid co-op program contract between the Incorporated City and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2026, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all streets referred to therein as being streets which are a part of the Incorporated City. Be it resolved by the legislative body of the Incorporated City that the legislative body of the Incorporated City does hereby accept all streets referred to in said contract as being city streets which are a part of the Incorporated City, and the legislative body of the Incorporated City does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated. And the chief executive officer of the said Incorporated City is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the legislative body of, and the city clerk of Auburn is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto. And then it just has a spot for you guys to vote.
Again, it's the same thing we did last year, but I didn't think they got it in fact, but somehow they missed our
They
paperwork or
didn't?
something.
But I caught them.
Yeah.
And they did get us added in there, and they did send us a couple of checks for our municipal road aid, but I didn't have to catch it, they forgot us.
It makes us eligible for some emergency funding. It's not a guarantee, but it makes us eligible to apply if we need to. It's only costing us 3% of our road aid funds. So I felt like it's worth it last time. I feel like it's worth it this time, but if the council has another idea, I'm good. If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the resolution.
That road aid fund is 60,000, right?
No, we get about 30,000 a year, roughly,
30,000.
something like that.
6%.
30,462.88.
6%.
Less than $1,000. But it makes us eligible for, it's a pretty good sized pool, but now it's competitive, you know, even if you had a good, like we say, we have a sinkhole cave in the street, that would qualify us to ask for some emergency funding for that. We're not guaranteed to get it, but if you have a sinkhole cave in the street,
If you don't
we're
have,
gonna
you
get
don't
something
pass the
there.
resolution, you know you.
Right,
Right.
Being competitive, you some of the rest of the county.
rest of the state, the whole, anybody that's participating in the program.
Another $13.
Which most cities are, you know, most cities. Now, the county has a different pool, this is for the city.
$913.
I'll make a motion to accept our resolution.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call please.
Clark Tisdale,
Yes.
Peggy Thomas,
Yes.
Greg Simmons,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory,
Yes.
Rhonda Sullivan.
Yes.
And I will try to be a little more diligent and, get a confirmation this year before we go 3/4 of the year and realize, oh no, all of a sudden we never received what we were supposed to. I'll keep a closer eye on that, just Heather and I were so focused on getting the banks reconciled, and that's how we found it. We finally got caught up and we were like, wait a minute. So I'll be more diligent this year and try to catch it, at the beginning.
Well, I'm just glad you thought it and got it straightened out before the end of the year, because that way we're still qualified. So.
They sent us our checks probably March, February, March. From the time we caught it, from the time we got our checks, it was pretty quick. They realized
It was like
that
a
they
couple
forgot us,
weeks.
and they got it pretty quick.
All right. That brings us to municipal orders, and there are none. And that brings us to new business from the council. Is there any new business from the council?
This is for me personally, is there any way we can either move our council date, maybe a couple days out, or try to get our packets a little earlier? I don't know what that involves on their end.
With it being the
For
first
me-
Monday, there's not really enough time for us to be able to get the financials balanced and put together and everything, before we do. It's a struggle, even sometimes how it is, so getting the packets out sooner is really not, I don't think, feasible.
We've discussed moving it out into the month a little bit in the past. Not this council, I don't think, but in the past councils, I can remember it being discussed. Now, it never happened, but I think for us, having it the second Monday, sometimes that falls on the 8th or 9th. You know what I'm saying? It's not exact. And it's very difficult for our staff, even if, I'm just saying, before software issues.
Right.
I'm just saying it still is very difficult for them to get their financials and get everything and get this packet made up, get it to the council 3 days before the meeting. So if it's on the 8th, they gotta get it to you by the Friday the 5th, right? So.
It's a push, even when things are going well.
So it's very difficult having it that early in the month. It doesn't sound like it would be till you do the math, right? And then when you do the math, it's very difficult for our staff to get that done. And then sometimes by the time they get the numbers that they need, then they're in here Friday night at 7:30.
Right.
And then delivering it to you guys at 8 o'clock, you know?
While we are talking about that, what's the purpose of the trial balance? That's just like redundant.
If you guys don't want it, I'd be happy not to include it. The trial balance is what Jenna and Lane, our auditors, balance our numbers off of. I think Becca provided that just to be transparent of what the auditors are looking at. The revenue and expense report probably provides more of what you guys are looking for, in my personal opinion. If you guys don't want it, I'll put in copies of it.
I look at the revenue and expense report.
I do too.
That's what I look at. I look at the trial balance.
But now I look at the trial balance too, but it's after I look at the revenue and expense, you know?
Yeah, but that is what the auditors look at, and it's something that Becca provided to you guys, so I didn't want to break tradition. But I'd be happy to switch it up, whatever you guys want to see is what I'll put together.
The way in which the trial balance is done too, it's a little bit confusing.
Well,
If you don't look at the other numbers first.
and it's not just right, we know that, and that's part of our software issue. But, you know, I just, at least want to be transparent of how not quite right it is.
Actually, it saved a bunch of paper. if y'all want.
Paper and ink, I mean, that one, 27 paper.
It is, it's long. It includes all of our accounts, not only the revenue and expense accounts, but the cash accounts and the liability accounts and the asset accounts and all this that you guys probably don't
Number two,
want to.
number what makes it easy for you to get the stuff out. That's important.
Running the trial balance report is not what's keeping it from being to you guys sooner. That's not make or break.
Okay.
Why don't you guys, you probably can't solve, I think it's a good question to bring up.
It rushes me at times.
I think it's a good question to bring up about the time of the meeting. Not the time, maybe 6 o'clock's fine, I mean, I'm just saying the date, but why don't you guys think about it before next meeting and maybe have some ideas in your mind, because, you know, statutorily, we're just required to make ourselves very readily accessible to the public. At 6 o'clock at night, we're readily accessible to most of the public, you know. We have it on a weeknight, we're still readily accessible. Doesn't say anything about thou shalt have it at a certain time, it's just thou shalt have it once a month, and then more if needed, so.
Are you looking at maybe going to the third week of?
Or even the second, or even, I don't know, maybe it doesn't need to be a Monday night, maybe, I'll be honest with you, you know, Monday's kind of a tough day for everybody here, catching up on the weekend, right, you know, so.
They answer a lot of my questions and help me out a lot, and it's just, I feel like I'm bombarded on Monday morning with trying to ask questions, and if I
Recommend city clerk to take one off.
if I work that Monday, then I don't get a chance to, you know.
Well,
I mean, for me personally, I would like to have a little bit more time to look over this stuff.
I think that's a valid thing to have.
We get our bank statements on the first of the following month, so.
Yeah.
We don't even have access to any numbers or anything like that until the next month.
Well, if we moved it to a Tuesday or a Thursday of that same week, would it prevent y'all from being here at 8 o'clock at night trying to get that stuff?
Well, listen, we're doing better on that.
I know, but I'm just asking. I'm not beating you down, I'm just asking.
When things are normal, which I know, here the past several months, they haven't been, we've been fighting with the software to get caught up. But when things are normal, that Friday afternoon is pretty doable. And I think we can continue that schedule, getting it out when we do. But I think what the mayor was asking is if you guys wanted to scooch back the day of the meeting, but us still give it to you at the same time.
Yes, that's what,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think.
if we could just move it to a
get it
Tuesday
out that same Friday.
without any too much trouble,
Right.
it would, I think it would help.
If you move it to the Tuesday or Thursday, like you said, then if she didn't get it to you on Monday, if it was something problem, like, but I don't know, whatever happened, right, but then it wouldn't be such a tragic thing, it wouldn't be the day of the council meeting to get your packet, right, you know? We try to get it out on that Friday, they always don't want to do it.
Right.
But that would give you a weekend plus another day or two, you know, look at it, even if you moved it to the Tuesday, which would be the second Tuesday of the month instead of the second month. But you guys can think about it and see what your schedules are.
I need to look too, is this something that they can set with a vote, or is this something that we have to pass by ordinance?
I think we have to have it in our ordinance,
I think you're right.
because it's not just a change that we just say we're gonna do, we have to do it by ordinance.
So we'll need to decide what you guys want to do and then talk to Elizabeth so that she can run something up for us.
Well, maybe we can take that and
We just changed the existing order, you know. It's by ordinance, but I mean, why don't you guys think about it in the next month? Is that suitable for the council? Then next month, have some ideas in mind. And, yeah, even if you had it that Tuesday or Thursday, either one, I guess any night during the week is gonna be hectic for a lot of people, you know, I mean, Monday night's no more hectic, I guess, than any other night.
definitely not Wednesday, not church month.
Yeah. Stay off of Friday, probably.
Yes,
Be gone.
Wednesday and Friday.
As a department side.
Why don't you guys
Second
think about
Tuesday
that?
works a lot better for me.
You could have it the second Tuesday or the second Thursday, or, you know, think about what suits all of you better. Still to be accessible to the public.
I mean, if it's okay with everybody, I think we moved it back one day, see if that works for everybody, then we can.
Do the second Tuesday of the month? Okay, so I can send an email to Elizabeth and see if she'll type me up and then have it ready for the next meeting.
Does that suit everyone?
Second Tuesday.
Yeah.
Sure.
I got my calendar up for the year, so I don't know. So, yeah.
I mean, she does have to have a little bit of time to put that together, but it doesn't have to be
Or
today.
maybe give me a day or two.
It's not me, you guys.
Yeah. Well, y'all look at your schedule, we'll get it done, you know. All right. All good on that? If there are any conflicts, how about letting Maggie know? That might be the best way to do it. That way we don't have to call a special meeting to take care of that. If there are no conflicts with having it on the second Tuesday, then maybe the end of the week we'll move on forward.
We can have to schedule a meeting, schedule a meeting.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, if you do have a conflict with that second Tuesday, just let Maggie know.
Yeah, just let me know.
We won't move forward that way. We'll wait till next month. Y'all can make a decision then. How about that? All right. Anything else on that? Any other new business? Hearing none, it's time for public comments. Anyone in the public have anything? Yeah.
Yes, I have a question. What is the city's right of way from the center of the road?
What's the city?
Well, easement right of way from the center of the road.
Well, now, it's different on different streets. And
What about Spring Street?
Spring Street. You know where we live.
yeah, but I don't know that I can tell you the answer to that right off the top of my head.
We requested 2 weeks ago to get some paperwork pulled for us so we would know. We never received a call or nothing, so.
And I've been trying to call you. You're busy.
Well, I've called
man.
that twice. I've called twice. I didn't get an answer the first time, and your husband answered the phone the second time.
No, I didn't answer no phone. You're wrong there.
Well, I said, this is Mike Hughes. I'm calling from, returning the call to Judy Haley. And you said, that's my wife.
I don't know.
And I didn't have any showing up on my phone that you called.
Yeah.
But I tried 11 days calling both numbers, your cell phone, your work number, except on weekends. I ain't gonna bother on weekends. But,
And that was your question about the right of way?
yes, and,
Okay.
well, not only that, we have other questions too.
Yeah.
The manhole that was put in down there,
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm talking about? I didn't know what it was. We were not notified that anything was gonna be going on down there. We were not at home, we were retired fishing. So,
I don't
we
blame
were
you.
not at home, but we were told that we were notified, but we were not. Does the city have a plat showing the easement on different streets?
Well, it's not an easement, it would be what we own. I know what you're saying, our right of way.
Okay, I'll show you mine, if you show me yours.
I don't really know, I'll have to look that up. I'll have to try and find that.
I'll have mine.
Okay.
We'll have ours.
You got your plat description, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
I got it.
yes.
So we got it.
And, when all of that, why was that manhole put where it was put? I know it's right there in front of the lift station,
Right.
but why wasn't it put over on Mr. Beatty's property?
There is one over there.
Then why is that one where it's at?
Well, it comes to that manhole and then goes into the lift station. To run it directly into the lift station could have possibly caused some backup problems.
So it had to be put there.
It had to be a manhole there, yes.
Okay. So if that's on my property, not the city's, I would say there's probably two options. It can be moved, or we can be paid for our property,
Well,
for the use of the
Yeah.
man.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I can't answer that question, but
Well,
I can get
that's
someone to.
why I tried calling you so we kind of set up
Yeah.
a meeting so we could go over all this.
Yeah, well, I tried to call back, but I talked to your husband, I figured I better not call back.
So, is there any way we can set up a meeting and discuss all this?
Yeah, but I'm gonna need to get some information first.
Well, that's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want you to get some information
Yeah,
and let us know.
yeah, well, now that you're giving me ultimatums, I'm gonna have to go by that. Probably
Well, I
other
just,
people said.
we just wanna know.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
I mean,
you
it's
gave me an
nothing-
ultimatum, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with
I
it.
don't know if it's an ultimatum or not, but
Well, you gave me two options.
we would like to know.
Yeah.
And, have another question. Where the street was tore up, you put I guess a water line or whatever,
Uh-huh.
who's responsible for fixing that?
You talking about that cut across there?
Yep.
We'll have to fix that, but we got about three more we gotta pour concrete into, so. We got
Okay.
about three more to fix at the same time.
Okay, that's all I'm.
But yeah, the city's responsible for that cut.
Okay, that's
That's where that
all
water
I
line
want
goes.
to know.
Yeah, that's us, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and, let's see, where's it? Yes. I think that's it, but we just wanna know, you know.
Well, I can't answer those well, I can answer a couple of them, but I can't answer the one about the right of way, where it ends and where it starts. I can't answer that.
So who can answer that?
I'll have to
Oh,
get
you'll have to
some,
look it
I'll
up,
have to
okay.
get a copy of our plot, our plan, of the
Okay.
street, see what that is, see what
Well,
utilities.
after the
it's-
meeting, can we set up a date and time, or?
Well, after I figure that out, I guess,
Yeah, I
It's
mean, a
really
week or
open.
two,
Yeah.
or whatever.
yeah, I would say sometime next week I should have that.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I would say sometime next week I should have that information.
Sure, that'd be fun.
Okay, I will reach out, I'll get Maggie to reach out to you.
All right, I think you got my number.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can leave it again if you need.
Oh, we got it.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to bring up? All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Got a motion and a second? Any discussion on that? All right, roll call please.
Austin Dale,
Yes, ma'am.
Peggy Thomas,
Yes.
Rick Seven,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory,
Yes.
Thomas Oliver.
Yes.